I can tell Josh really enjoyed that, didn't he?
Bad boy intro,
yes,
man.
guys,
Bad boy
welcome
intro.
yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's Arsenal all out. And yeah, this one, it's just, well, the three of us at the moment with AT hopefully on his way soon enough. Unfortunately, there's no Tom because, you know, he's doing something that I can't really say on camera. Put it this way, it's something to do with the Dons and Gunners hub geezer, whatever it's called. So
You made it sound like he was doing something untoward.
Yeah, I was gonna like.
I was like, made it sound like he was, you know, having some fun with himself.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, listen. Obviously, Arsenal at the weekend beat Portsmouth. We won't go through the Liverpool game because that happened on Thursday. So we'll just cover obviously the Portsmouth game at the weekend, as well as obviously the Chelsea game, and we may as well talk about, you know, who we got in the FA Cup today, as well. But yeah, obviously,
Rory, I've got a quick question for you because that intro was brilliant, right? But when did you learn to count? I didn't know you could do that.
You what?
I was joking. I was actually genuinely saying how good your intro.
No, I didn't actually hear what you said.
But I said how good the intro was. My question was then, when did you learn to count? Because, you know, the numbers came down nicely to the start, which actually I thought was
fair, that was the editing error because it went from 10, 9, 7.
Hence, when did you learn to count? Nothing gets past me.
Oh my god. But yeah, we'll always introduce the panel. Dom, how's it going, mate? You good?
Yeah, well, good.
Apart from the fact it's obviously being injured, but you know.
Yeah, well, I just found out the score. They conceded 5 tonight.
Oh god.
No Baggins at the back and 5 go in. But yeah, my defensive partner scored 3 for us. So, you know, I'm all good though, mate. All good. How about you? And in all seriousness, that intro was really good.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad, thanks. What about you, Josh? You good?
Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, bad boy intro, bro. That was sick, man. You had Alexis, you had Tierney on there. I was like, geez, bro, this is lit. But
there's no way I'm gonna have Ashley Cole on there, though.
Huh?
There was no way I was going to have Ashley Cole on
there.
No. What about Nigel Winterburn? The ultimate number 3.
Oh yeah, true. But he was like, bro, I was a sperm when he was playing. So like,
yeah.
Yeah. But obviously I had to include the poshest man on YouTube in it, although you guys barely saw it. It's just the music cut in. So yeah, just in case you are in the chat, posh. You're not.
There he is. There he is. There he is. As soon as you say his name.
Oh yeah.
Perfect timing.
It's like Beetlejuice.
If we're doing player ratings, I'll give it okay. Very good. These guys, bruv, on my player ratings, forcing me to draw 9s with a fucking mouse, and I'm like, are you mad?
You can tell Rory's not German. He can never say no.
Oh my days.
Hey, look, with Josh's shirts in the background, you could do 3 times 3 and make 9, Rory. Look.
Oh my god, we're not even started the stream yet. Jesus Christ. Oh my days. Where should we start then? We'll start with the Portsmouth game at the weekend. Obviously, we made it comfortable in the end. You know, 4-1 victory, Martinelli bagging a hat-trick. But then again, it was scrappy at times, wasn't it? Didn't make it easy. Went 1-0 down. And to put it bluntly, the first half was not entertaining whatsoever for me. It just wasn't. You know, Madueke had a very strange game. I mean, he got 2 assists, missed a penalty, won a penalty. Like, I don't know. Like, certain players did have weird games. Martinelli bagged a hat trick, as I said, but he could have scored about 5. So, we'll go to Dom first on this one. What do you make of the game overall, bro?
It was it kind of had everything, didn't it, in terms of the FA Cup? You know, It's what I'd call a professional, non-outstanding performance from Arsenal. I always think these are difficult ones for Arsenal, and we'll probably touch on it later with Wigan, where if you win the game comfortably, and Arsenal did win it comfortably, everyone goes, "Well, you should be beating them, shouldn't you?" You struggle, and everyone goes, "Oh, you only just beat them." So it's always a difficult one. And obviously, Arsenal made 10 changes, I think it was, for the game. That I think shows the depth that we do have. And yes, you should be beating Portsmouth, right? But even so, it's away. They're still a championship side. So I think Arsenal will be pleased with the performance, pleased to get the minutes in the legs, but obviously didn't get a good start. And I think, Kepa will be incredibly disappointed with himself. And I do wonder whether Graham will start on Wednesday night after that, because Mikel Arteta will want to win that game. And while Kepa didn't do anything wrong after that initial save, Rare I could see starting on Wednesday as a result of that. So Kepa might have done himself out of that game. But as you say, Arsenal, I actually didn't mind the first half. I thought it was actually quite entertaining. It wasn't brilliant football. It wasn't, wow, blow you away, football. But I actually found it quite entertaining. Lots of attacking going on. Portsmouth game gave it a go, didn't they? I mean, they were ahead on shots at half time, albeit they were quite speculative for the most part. But yeah, Arsenal thoroughly professional. Madueke, as you say, I don't know what he was doing for that penalty. Otherwise, he was fairly lively without being outstanding. I thought Miko Moreno and Christian Norgard came out of it with a lot of credit. Norgard out of position. But I think the man you've got to be most pleased for is, of course, Gabby Martinelli. Difficult week after the Liverpool incident, where, look, he's been a bit silly, he's lost his head, but equally, I think it's been conclusively proved since that he did not see Conor Bradley fall and therefore didn't know he was badly hurt. And actually, I do want to say this, actually, Arne Slot's comments I thought were fantastic after that game, by the way. I thought he was absolutely spot on. He could have ramped it up and made life really unpleasant and riled everyone up. He didn't. He was really calm about it. I thought thoroughly professional and well done to Arne Slot. But Gabby Martinelli deserved those goals. I'm really pleased for him. As you say, he could have had 5. But as I say, overall, we're through something we haven't been able to say in the FA Cup for a while. Just a professional performance, and got to be pleased. You're away from home, you make all those changes, and you get through comfortably.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about Kai Havertz as well. Obviously, he came back as well, didn't he? So obviously that means the Havertz sexuals have, hatched out. So
just quickly on Kai, I actually thought Gabby Jesus was relatively lively, lovely ball through for one of those goals. Havertz, he made a couple of good runs. I think, the adrenaline probably pumping for Kai Havertz.
Sorry to interrupt, but did you hear my question? But you did hear my question.
You asked me about Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say the reason I'm answering
I muted myself, but for some reason I wasn't muted.
No,
I'm a bit confused.
The reason I mentioned Jesus and then Havertz is because suddenly you've got three centre forwards with 3 different profiles. I think that could be quite exciting for Arsenal, and I'm hoping that gets the best out of Gyökeres. I wasn't surprised Jesus started, but I was tempted to go, do you give Gyökeres one more go and see him can get a goal, because he's looking short on confidence. But Arsenal now with 3 centre forwards with 3 different styles of play. I think Kai Havertz will follow a similar process back to Jesus, which will be off the bench for a little while. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Gyökeres start on Wednesday. But I think he's another good option for Arsenal to have on the bench. I don't know about you two, but he looks a bit more direct in his running. Very, very small sample size, obviously, but he looked like he wanted to get in that box a little bit more. Havertz, usually we see him come short, which obviously I think suits Arsenal's build-up game in terms of how we're tactically set up. But he looked to get more direct into the box a little bit more, which he did do in that game against Manchester United as well before he got injured. Again, really small sample size, so too early to tell, but I found that quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, about this debate about whether Gyökeres should have started the game. I just think sort of like the aftermath, if he doesn't score against Portsmouth, who are 21st in the Championship,
it makes it worse. Right?
Say again?
It makes it worse for him, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the risk you're taking. If you start Gyökeres and then he doesn't score, then it goes tits up for him.
That's
has
exactly
gone.
the downside, Rory. I made the sort of similar point in just before the game, which was that's the downside. You know, if you do it and he doesn't score, are you making it worse? You know, because for him, Arteta's tried to play him through to try and find him some confidence. He hasn't found it. Do you now take him out the firing line or not? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll move to Josh next, or Kai. Welcome back, bro. How did you find it out? How did you find it out there?
No, man. No. What is this? Kai's already on the panel, man. Shout out to you, gun down every time. But
I thought you were in Morocco.
Yeah, no, well, mate, I'm in Morocco, mate. Like, I'm playing for Chelsea on Wednesday or something on the win, flipping Havertz. What's going on here, man? But, yeah, the game, to be honest with you, I think Dom summed it up really well, to be fair. Exactly, it's type of FA Cup game, really. Like, we can see that early goal, and I'm like, oh, no, let's not be on the end of an upset, you know, because this is the beauty of this competition, man. You know, like these sides are gonna go for it, and you saw the stadium and how buzzing it was for the Pompey fans, and even when we was like 2-1 up, they're still having a go, man, in that second half. To be fair to them, so this is the thing that you get with the FA Cup. Like you get these teams who actually have a go against you. So obviously we can see how the early goal, and we're thinking, no, let's not have an upset here, but we responded really quickly, to be fair. Again, people will talk about set pieces. I think all our goals are set pieces, weren't they? Barring maybe
Apart from what, yeah.
But technically, the one we scored that was from a quick free kick, wasn't it?
No, but that's not a set piece, is it?
Yeah, but like
it was a quick free kick, wasn't it? Like
it was, but I'm not sure I would count it as I'm not sure I count it as a set piece, but you could argue it is.
Yeah, but either way, look, 3 set pieces. Buzzing for Martinelli, to be fair to him, like scores a hat trick.
Sorry to interrupt, John. I'm laughing because Tom just messaged me. He said he was late joining the stream. He said he's not sure if he wants to watch the rest. Sorry, Tom. That's what I was giggling at.
Oh man, but yeah, look, like Martinelli for me, obviously he has this thing of scoring in his cup games. Champions League, he scored 5 goals. Carabao Cup, he had a great performance against Palace. FA Cup, he's bad at hat-trick. But it's like, when it comes to the Premier League, he's a completely different type of player. And I think we may have mentioned this the other podcast, but maybe it's a way how teams set up against us in the Premier League, compared to cup matches. I think we spoke about like the whole low block. He tends to struggle against teams who play, the sort of like low block sort of styles against him. But I look at this guy still, guys, and I said it like start the season when people say, the downfall of him. I still think he should be used as a striker personally. Like you look at him aerially as well yesterday, getting on the end of the crosses or on the set pieces as well. And I remember when he first came into this club, like we played him as a striker. You think about his early stages when he first burst onto the scene. I remember like in Europa League games, he was scoring goals up front. That Carabao Cup game against Liverpool, that 5-5 springs to mind where he looked really good up front. I think there was a split moment when we saw him last season against Liverpool at Anfield. Him and Trossard swapped around for the second half and he played more direct. And again, he got himself the goal. And I just really want us to see him, really want Arteta to play this, give him an opportunity to see him more direct, because I think he can. And even in that Portsmouth game, I think it's in that first half, there's that moment where I think 20 minutes in, he was through on goal centrally, right? And he opened up his body really well, and he probably should have scored it. But it's like in those positions there, it's like that's where maybe we can get the best out of Martinelli, to be fair to him. So
what I mean, just on that, because I'm not against it, but I don't see it happening with the options we've got up there. But what I really want to see, and I think we were talking about this in the summer, was what are the things that excite me about Gyökeres, and I still think, I just think it's not over for Gyökeres at Arsenal yet, but I was excited about him with Martinelli on the left because I just thought they could interchange. When Gyökeres runs down that left channel, Martinelli can come through the middle. And I think a more fluid front three, and we've seen it at times this season, a little bit of interchanging. I'd like to see it a bit more. Means that, you know, Martinelli could play on the left or up front and switching in game, or even moving across to the right. I think that could be really exciting because I think he can play any three of those positions. And I think that's what really excites me about Martinelli. But I think you're absolutely right about the low blocks. If someone gives him space, then he can be lethal. The problem is in the Premier League, and I think it's part of Gyökeres' problem, which is why probably Havertz or Jesus are probably going to fare better, is he's not, natural game isn't to drop deep, is to run in behind. And Premier League teams, even Liverpool did it on Thursday, just don't give him any space. They're just going to drop, you know, edge of their 18-yard box. But sorry to interrupt. I think it's really interesting on Martinelli.
Even when Gyökeres has space as well, like he's not being given the ball, and I think that's the frustrating thing about him, that he's just not. Every time he is in that space, we don't give him the ball.
Well, he is and isn't, right? So he is being targeted. He's still in the top. He's certainly in the top 5 still for most targeted forwards by his own team. I think the issue is he's not finding space or being allowed to find space. And I think it is a bit of both. So that's, I think, is what's restricting him the most, is that we can't get him the ball because there's no separation, either because he's so closely marked or because his movement's a bit predictable. But there is something in the fact still that Arsenal could find him.
I just feel like, I feel like he's expecting that incredible cross or that incredible pass. So he's like, well, I can afford to just camp behind the centre-backs without making a run into the 18-yard box. I think that's the thing with Gyökeres at the moment. And I've already said, like, I think he needs to improve his box movement because it is just not being good enough. He has been here long enough to sort of clock how we play and what we are going to do, because we are very predictable. Like, we're always going to get Saka, Odegaard into the game a lot. So he should be pouncing on a lot of these crosses. And Declan Rice as well has whipped in a couple of really good crosses, but he's been nowhere to be seen. That's the issue with him.
Madueke could have almost had 4 or 5 assists in the league this season from Gyökeres.
Yeah.
But that's what Martinelli did yesterday.
Yeah.
For both of the for both, well, 2 of his goals, right? You know, both came off both headers, wasn't they? Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly that with that movement. And the other thing as well with Gyökeres as well, which is this season we've not been so dependent on that right side either. You know, I think part of the reason I think Saka's numbers are down are because he had that little injury and it took him, he lost sort of a few games trying to get back, but partly because the ball's gone down the left, almost not quite, but it's about 45, 55-ish region. I can't quite remember what those numbers are. I looked at it last week, between Arsenal right and left. If you split the field in half, obviously some of that comes down the centre. Last year, that probably was much more 75-25. I don't know what last year's numbers were, but much, much closer. You know, it's still right-sided, but much less than it was. And Gyökeres is predominantly on that left channel. That's where he likes to run into. So, you know.
Do you think it's because of the absence of Odegaard, though? Because he's been injured for quite a bit of the season, hasn't he? So do you think
I think it's two things. I think Trossard is playing better. I think Ezra's played in the 10 a few times, and of course he prefers to drift to the left. But also Gyökeres, you know, likes to operate in that left channel. But we've also had the fact that Zubamendi's there, and him and Rice, you know, again makes it less predictable. So sometimes Zubamendi's come and played the cross pass towards the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side. I think it's a mixture of things. You know, one of the things I was critical of Arsenal last season was attack was too predictable, too right side, too slow. This season it has been quicker. I think we can still go long more than we do, because we do tend to go short because that's how we play. But I think we shouldn't be afraid to go long. But it has been much, much more unpredictable because we're going both ways. And I think probably it's something Mikel Arteta realised in the summer, that they had become too predictable. I mean, he didn't need a statistician to tell him that.
I mean, Arteta aside, right? Would you guys play Kai ahead of Gyökeres right now?
Not right now. Not right now.
No, but like maybe not right now, but like when Havertz is fully.
Do you mean
fit.
A fully fit Kai Havertz?
Yeah, fully fit Kai Havertz. Would you be playing ahead of Gyökeres right now?
I mean, what is this guy the savior now?
I don't think so.
Because you want Kai Havertz?
Kai Havertz.
I really don't think he's the savior. I don't like. Look, the thing is, I've never. No, go on, Josh. I was going to say, right.
No, you go. You go
No,
first.
no,
Man. You go first.
I've not really seen like a player like Kai Havertz who is so hated when he's on the football pitch, but when he's out injured, everyone seems to love him. Is it just me, or like, what is
Yeah.
going on here? Because we despise him when he's on the football pitch, but when he's injured, oh, we miss you, Kai. Like,
So I
come
think
on, man.
I think the framing of the debate is wrong. The framing of the debate is Gyökeres versus Kai Havertz or Gabby Jesus, right? I really shouldn't wear this jumper. I genuinely look like I'm in HMS Belmarsh. But HMP Belmarsh even. But anyway, that beside the fact that I look like a convict in a cell, I think the framing is wrong, right? It's not about Gyökeres versus Kai Havertz. I think the reason I wanted Gyökeres over Šeško was a better fit for the way Arsenal play. The reason I wanted Gyökeres was because he plays in a very different way. So what I'd like to see is the two interchange with Gabby Jesus as well, depending on the opposition. If you've got, I'm just going to use an Ange Postecoglou Tottenham just to make a really obvious point. Then you want to play Gyökeres, balls in behind, running off the channel, into the channels. Yeah, similar to Martinelli, right on the left-hand side. If you've got a side that will sit in deep, I'm just going to use a Sean Dyche Burnley. I know he's not at Burnley anymore, but we all remember the Sean Dyche Burnley. Like, it's the archetype, stereotypical, sitting behind. Then you probably want Kai Havertz to try and bring their centre forwards out a little bit to create a little bit of space for the wingers to run in. So I just think that's how I would set it up, right? Which is, if I've got space to run in behind, I want Gyökeres. If I want to try and pull their defence out a little bit, I want Kai Havertz, and that's how I would look at it. And I think the Arsenal system is better suited to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz last season would have scored 21 goals, statistically speaking, had he stayed fit based on what he did do. But Arsenal also were right to look for the upgrade. They needed a second striker that could stay fit because Jesus obviously wasn't reliable. They needed, they also need an upgrade on Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is not a bad player. I really dislike their hatred of him, but equally, he's not the saviour. I've always said if Kai Havertz is your squad player, and that's what I think he is these days, in theory, if Gyökeres can find some form, that is a good thing for the club, but you don't want him as your starting number 9. I think if that's how we use him this season, I think that can only be good for Arsenal.
I mean, I think the question we should be also asking is, which striker would score 20 plus goals in this Arteta system? Because, like, I remember, I think it was it Saturday night, like, me, Tom, Logan, big up both of them, like, we were going off on one on Saturday about Kai Havertz, Victor Gyökeres, etc., right?
Yeah, I was trying to play my computer game.
Yeah, bro, I must have asked the question about 3 or 4 times and I never got an answer, right? Which striker, right? And we're not counting Kai Havertz because I must have said as well about 5 times that he's not a striker. He wasn't brought in to play as a striker. He is pretty much a false 9, basically. Otherwise, we'll be seeing him drop deep every now and then. So, this is the point, right? No striker, right, under Arteta's tenure. Like, did you know? I think you guys have seen this stat already, that no one, right, in this Arsenal team, apart from Aubameyang, has scored 20 plus goals under Arteta. And we're not even counting, the season where Arteta came in, December time, right? Because he had no style of play, basically. He was just relying on Aubameyang, basically, to bail him out. And that's when the handcuffs were off, basically, because, he didn't have his own squad. Now he has his own squad. We're starting to see, right, that his system does not suit a striker. And for me, he's got to at least tweak it. I don't care if we're top of the league, right? Because I keep hearing this narrative that, because we're top of the league, we don't need to change the system. You can, though. You can.
Yeah,
I mean,
but is Arteta going to do that? I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah, I was hearing, obviously, Josh and Tony the other day waxing lyrical about Julian Alvarez and the fact we should have got him when he was at Man City. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that.
Why not?
I think. What do you mean, why not? Right now, you would take Julian Alvarez.
You didn't take him
as a number 9. No.
No, but you're talking about systems. You don't think a player like Alvarez would suit
I think he'd be.
Arteta
I
But
think
plays.
we don't play that football anymore, Josh. Though.
I think that's exactly what we play.
No, we don't, because every now and then you see us punting the ball long to Gabriel Jesus every single time. Right? Julian Alvarez has scored 1 goal in his last 10 games for Atletico Madrid. So has he been ripping up any trees either, or like what's going on? I see him again as a false 9. Right? He plays in a 4-4-2 at Atletico Madrid. As a lone striker, I mean, I don't know like what you see in him. I really don't. But elaborate.
Do you not think what he did at Man City with Haaland? Because he didn't even. You say he played as a lone striker. He didn't even play as a lone striker of Haaland, did he not? He played him behind him.
Yeah, he played as a 10.
And he still scored 17 goals.
He played as a 10 at Man City. He didn't play as a lone striker.
Yeah, but didn't you say that's what you'd see him at Arsenal as?
Yes, but not as a number 9.
So I don't get. So why wouldn't you take him then? Because you don't think he's.
It's not the fact I wouldn't take him. It's just, you know, the fact we're going from Gyökeres to then Alvarez, who's not an out-and-out striker, right? I see him more as a 10 for me.
But ain't that the point of Arteta, how Arteta plays? We speaking about Gyökeres is an out-and-out striker. Gyökeres, I look at someone like who's a target man, who's like a proper out-and-out number 9.
He's a more traditional number 9, Gyökeres, whereas Havertz or Alvarez are more in that, as you say, false 9 role, which isn't a striker, but is still the striker in this system that we have. It's sort of, I sort of liken Havertz in this system to Firmino in the Liverpool system. You know, I think that's very much how you play, and I think, you know, no one has got 20 goals under Arteta, and that's partly because he wanted to build a defensively solid team and sort of change that narrative about us having a soft underbelly. And, you know, Manchester United this season have started their rebuild, you know, for the 5th time, but they started at the front. Arteta started his at the back. But I also think he's built a team where he doesn't want, not that he doesn't want a striker to score 20, he's going to take it, obviously. He tries to share the goals around. So I think you're right. Do I see a 20-goal striker in the league under Arteta? No, I don't think so, because of the way we play is to try and create opportunities in a variety of ways for different people to score. Do I think we can see a 20-goal player in a season in all competitions? And yes, I do. But that might also depend on what I was talking about earlier with the framing of that Gyökeres versus Havertz. It's less the players. It's more, what do we need in the game? And that could see both of them say, let's say they stay fit for the season, get 15 goals rather than one of them getting over 20 because of that difference. But I you know, Arsenal do score goals. They don't necessarily score it through the striker. It's very similar to Firmino. And I think there's more than one way you can do it. I think we probably all rather see an exciting Thierry Henry style striker, you know, playing on the last man, beating someone with a bit of skill, you know, running through and curling into the far corner. I don't necessarily see Mikel Arteta wanting to do it in that way. He wants to do it in a, this is unfair, and it wasn't quite this way because Drogba was more of a battering ram than sort of anything else, but more of a Jose Mourinho style way of winning the league. I think that's kind of Mikel Arteta's blueprint. It's if you look at his managerial sort of mentors that he played most under, there's a David Moyes and Pep Guardiola, and you can see a blend of the two of them in this Mikel Arteta team. And I think the striker is more of that David Moyes system. So I think, to your point, I don't think we will see a 20-goal league striker unless someone has a massive purple patch under Arteta. We're certainly not going to see it this season. Gyökeres is too far behind. Havertz hasn't played enough because he's played 2 games. Well, one of them was in the cup.
This season, if you look at all the Premier League top goal scorers, have we even got a player in the top 15 or 10? I don't think we do.
No. But yeah, we're the second top scorers, which is, you know,
yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is, right, about this Alvarez situation, right? We make up this narrative that apparently false 9s, etc., suit Arteta's style of play. I mean, you look at the likes of Jesus, Havertz, not really strikers, if you ask me, but they've not banged 20 plus.
Well, that's what I was just saying, right? I mean, you're right. They're not traditional strikers. But equally, Arsenal have set goal scoring records under Mikel Arteta, where he scored more goals in the league than they've done under anyone else. So I think, would I rather see, as I said earlier, a 20-goal striker? Absolutely. Yes, I would. But you're not going to see it under him because of the way he plays. Now, could he change it? Sure. But if he changes it, you might lose other aspects of it. We've seen Arne Slot do it spectacularly badly this season, but you have seen people do it spectacularly well. Pep Guardiola, of course, tweaked his system to put Haaland in there. Having said that, I'm not sure there's another Haaland out there.
Yeah,
if you put Harry Kane into the system, he's obviously an upgrade on Kai Havertz, but similar profile, right? Which is dropped deep the ball.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. Like regarding Haaland at Man City, right? They won the league that season, by the way. They won the league, so
well, that's what I'm saying. You can change.
There's no need for them to sign Haaland. Like, let's be honest, right? If Arsenal won the league with Havertz but didn't win the Champions League, would this fan base be eager for a striker in the summer? Yes or no? Not saying specifically both of you, but like, would you guys, if Arsenal won the league with Kai Havertz up front, would you be saying, right, we need a flipping striker, don't we?
Depends on how Gyökeres does, I think.
No, like, if we had Kai Havertz, like, forget Gyökeres in this equation. If we had Kai Havertz, we won the league, would you be saying we need a striker?
Well, I mean, I don't know what Josh thinks now. He should answer in a second, but I think Gyökeres is very relevant to this because you can't just have one player, because what happens when they get injured? We found that last season with both our strikers injured. And that's why Gyökeres is important. If Gyökeres is there and he's getting some goals too, and Kai Havertz is scoring, and you win in the league, then no. If neither of them are scoring at all, then yeah, you probably want to look at that. And that's I could see people wanting it, but I think the answer is it depends on are either of these two in form or are both of them in form. If neither of them are, then people will still want it. But I don't know what Josh thinks.
That's the thing we were talking about last season anyway, Dom, really. With Havertz and Jesus. Everyone was banging on about getting a striker because as much as Havertz had his purple patch, where, as you said, he was on for what? 20 goals?
21.7 goals.
21, yeah. Like, obviously, then he gets the injury and all this stuff. But it's been a common theme when we brought in Jesus in that first season. Again, had that fantastic start, but then that injury happened and both his knees are like done anyway, right? But then it was the same with Havertz. Like, Havertz had some good games here and there, but everyone was talking about, is this actually the guy? Is he the main guy to take us over the line in terms of winning the Premier League title? Hence why, we was like, people were talking about, we need a clinical goal scorer. And then that's why I was so buzzing when we got a player like Gyökeres, right? But obviously now he struggled a bit. So I do agree, to be honest, with Dom. I just feel for me that this whole striker thing is so frustrating, man, because it's like we look at a player like Gyökeres last season, and over the course of both the seasons as well. Like, I can't sit there and say I'm done with this guy. No. I can't sit there and say like, I'm giving up on this guy, because I'm sorry, like, you perform like that over the 2 seasons. And I get people will say it's a Portuguese league and all this, right? Yes, the Premier League is a complete step up, right? But people forgetting this guy was in England, man. He experienced a championship. We've seen some quality players come from the championship and do really well in the Premier League. He did really well at Coventry for the 2 seasons how many seasons he was there, right? He did it in Champions League in European nights, like Man City last season, bagging a hat-trick against them, even against us. At times, like, we was very quite.
He still looked really lively against us.
Yeah, he did. I think he when he had that on the halfway line, weren't it? And then he almost scored. Like, I think he hit the crossbar or something.
He got away from Gabriel, if I remember rightly.
He got away with Gabriel, yeah. So, like, he was looking really lively in that game. I was like, you can't go. How can you go from and to do that? People say the Portuguese league, but you have to play what's in front of you. He can only play what's in front of him, and he got record numbers, breaking record after record. There has to be a player in there, man.
I agree, Josh. And I think there's also that expectation thing. I never expect him to come in and score 30, 40 goals. I felt if he did 20 in all competitions, which is looking a stretch at the moment, but not beyond the realms, that's probably a decent season. Partly because I expected some minute rotation with Havertz, but partly because, there's a bit of adaptation, both for the team and for him. So, like you, I'm not ready to give up on him. Right now, I just think he needs a goal. Something like 14 hours since he last scored an open play goal. I just think if he gets a goal, I could see him going 2, 3, 4, 5, not necessarily Haaland numbers, like no one is Haaland. Like, I don't think there is another Haaland in world football at the moment from what he does well. There are players that I think are better than Haaland, but in terms of all going game, many players, but not at what he physically does. But I could see him getting, I could see him going a goal every sort of 120 minutes once he gets one. I really do. Right now he just looks bereft of confidence, and I just think that changes if he gets a goal. Like you, I'm not ready to give up on him.
Yeah, I think Posh mentioned it in the chat as well. Like, I feel with Gyökeres and the fact fans are already giving up on him is because they wanted Sesko up front. That's it. Like, they were eager for Sesko because Arteta wanted him.
Yeah.
And let's say if this was Sesko and he hadn't scored from open play since September, let's be honest, we would hear, he's young, give him time, new league. Yeah. With Gyökeres, it's completely different. And I get, like, he's 27, Sesko's 22. I get it. But at the same time, the same cycle continues with strikers under Mikel Arteta that just go to pot, right? Aubameyang to this day is scoring goals at the age of 36. Lacazette, how many goals did he bag the following season after he left? 27. The same number as Dembele, by the way, did last season, and he won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
So, listen, for me, if we are giving Havertz and even Marino to an extent, we should be giving the same time to Gyökeres.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you.
He hasn't had a pre-season yet, right?
I agree.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, I knew Tom was going to ask about fucking Nketiah at some point. Well, if Nketiah's putting in this form that Gyökeres is, we'll not hear the end of it, pal. The fact you've not been able to realise this, Tom, is worrying. Look at the football we played when Nketiah was up front. Look at the football we play now.
I mean, Eddie Nketiah had to be moved on, right? There's no question. He didn't make the grade. I think Arsenal were right for him to be one of the last ones to move on. If you look at the fact we were building the team, right? Eddie Nketiah was one of the Arsenal players coming through that looks most likely to make it through. It was the area that least needed upgrading because you can only do 3, 4, maybe 5 a summer. He was the highest grade and therefore it was low on the list to move on. But Arsenal then had done a lot of their work, and therefore we ended up in a position where Eddie Nketiah moving on was absolutely the right thing because Arsenal were ready to move on from Eddie Nketiah. He hadn't developed into an Arsenal player. Arsenal improved, he hadn't. And Arsenal at the point where actually you're the next player that needs to be moved on because we've gone through the likes of Pablo Mari and whatever other dross we had that I would rather forget about, Stephen Lichtsteiner, etc., etc. Like, we'd gone through that, right? We were at the point where Eddie Nketiah, who is a Premier League striker, but he's not a top Premier League striker at a top team.
He could have get in at Leeds. This is what I'm saying.
No, well, he couldn't. But he was also much younger then, right? But I mean, but Palace being a backup striker at Palace is probably the right level for Eddie Nketiah. He's not a backup striker at Arsenal. Arsenal moved on beyond him, but Arsenal were right to he was right to be one of the latter ones out the door.
I mean, this is another thing as well. Like, keep in mind, these Arteta obsessive wanted Raya out of the club because
Who the hell wanted David Raya out of the club?
Yeah, like when Raya first came in.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah, when he first came in,
about flipping Ramsdale.
Yes, Ramsdale, yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Sorry, I thought you meant now. I was like, what?
Nah.
No, not now. Obviously, when we first signed him and he replaced Ramsdale.
And that turned out. to be fair. But I mean, he's turned out to be a great one. You look at him,
Yeah.
Another goalkeeper didn't seem the priority. At the time, to be honest with you, being polar, I didn't see much of a difference between Ramsdale and Raya. I thought aspects of Raya's game overall were probably marginally better, but very marginal. I was like, but we need other players more desperately than that. But it turns out that it's an inspired choice. So I don't think there can be any complaints about it. But I can see the narrative being, why have we gone for backup goalkeeper now when we need a centre forward or we need a centre midfielder? But I wasn't certainly going to kill Arsenal over doing that.
I think that 65 million, you could argue, could have gone to a striker.
And it was Arteta that wanted him as well, wasn't it? It was him that pushed hard for that. Edu, I think, didn't want to do the deal, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think,
and you can see why Edu didn't want to.
I remember when fans were being overly harsh on Gabriel as well in the 22-23 season. They were calling him to be dropped and shit. And that's worked out, hasn't it? So this is what I'm saying. I think you've got to give players at least a season, or at least pre-season, to let them bed in, because Gyökeres hasn't had that, and he's not really had many opportunities. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still missed a couple of chances here and there.
Well, every striker does, even Haaland misses chances.
He's not missed any clear-cut opportunities.
But what was going to say, it's an odd one though, isn't it? Because everyone expects every player to hit the ground running, right? But not every player does. Whether that's at Arsenal or other teams, even Thierry Henry struggled initially, but Moreno, he's obviously coming to be a squad player and needs to be judged as such. But he struggled early. Havertz struggled early. You look at Florian Wirtz; he's starting to score a few goals now and get assists. He really struggled. Isak struggled at Liverpool. I know he's injured now. You see players sometimes struggle. You don't necessarily expect them to. Even Declan Rice said he wasn't anywhere near what he could do in his first 6 months at Arsenal because he was learning how to adapt to the new team. So I think really we need to see, to your point, Rory, and Josh, you were saying earlier, you just need to see where Gyökeres ends up the season.
I mean, right now, guys, aside from Gyökeres, would you start Martinelli ahead of him on Wednesday?
What from?
Yeah. From now to the end of the season, would you be starting Martinelli as the striker? And we know it's not going to happen, so it's completely hypothetical. But would you guys start Martinelli up front from now to the end of the season, or would you still persist in with Gyökeres?
No, but I would. Obviously, he got dropped against Portsmouth. I think Wednesday against Chelsea.
Portsmouth, though?
Dropped or rested. I think we'll find out.
Sorry. I always say dropped all the time, but sorry, rested. You can say rested.
If he doesn't play on Wednesday, then you could probably say he was dropped. But
that's what I'm saying. What if he doesn't play on Wednesday? But at the same time, could that do him could that be a positive for him in a sense that maybe it'll fire him up a little bit more? Thinking hold on a minute, now Havertz is back in, Jesus is there. You'd hope to give him that bit of what's the word,
reality check.
Impetus.
Maybe just hold on a minute, if I don't back up my ideas, I'm going to be probably dropped now for quite a few games, and I won't be starting it week in week out like he was being that main guy for us. So you'd hope that give him a bit more, even though I think he's of course trying to get even if he's not scoring the goals, the record's still there. Every time this guy starts, we have a fantastic record in winning games. I think it's only it might be one defeat or something since he started. Now might be
it can't be more than two.
I don't know why it keeps getting taken off.
By the way, we only lost one.
We've lost two.
Lost two, but
I don't know why it keeps getting subbed off. By the way,
I do. I think he's been subbed off. Sometimes I think it's because he's not playing well. And Liverpool clearly won. But I think there's also the fact as well that Arsenal had either no one fit because Kai Havertz and Jesus were out, or because actually they're still not fully fit. I mean, right now Jesus has just got his first 90 after 5-6 weeks after coming back from injury. But I think the thing for Gyökeres as well is that I think there's going to be a way back into the side for him at some point. I think if he's left out on Wednesday and then left out again on, is it Saturday we're playing this weekend or is it Sunday? But
Yeah,
at the
Saturday.
weekend, it could just be when a player is bang out of form and bang out of confidence, and that is where Gyökeres is right now. There's two ways you play him through. We've tried that. This could be Mikel Arteta going, do you know what? I'm just going to take the pressure off you for a little bit. I'm going to take you out the side, and then I'm going to put you back in. I still believe in you. And everything you hear from Arsenal at the moment is really positive. You've heard Mikel Arteta in the past lambast players. Eza most recently after that mistake against Villa, where he said, look, he needs to do more defensive work. He's not done that at all with Victor Gyökeres, and I think it's a realisation that Victor Gyökeres is someone that does need an arm around the shoulder. Bollocking him and calling him out for the bits he hasn't done doesn't work with him quite clearly. So, we'll see what happens, but I think Victor Gyökeres will get a run again at some point.
Yeah, but don't you think, right, even if Gyökeres is not having a particularly good game, surely it would make sense to leave your marquee signing on the pitch for the full 90 minutes? Because, Haaland, right, I'm not comparing him to Haaland by any means, right, but this is the difference between us and Man City with strikers, right? City keep their killers on the pitch regardless, right? Regardless if Haaland's having a stinker or not. Because he can pop up with that odd occasion here and there, right? Against Liverpool, and I don't really want to dissect the Liverpool game too much, but against Liverpool, right, we needed a goal. It was 0-0, and you take your striker off the pitch that you paid 60-odd million pounds for, right? And then you wait until the 70th minute to bring Eza on, and that's the issue with me.
I think it's two things.
18.
Hey, 18's in the building.
Took you long enough, bro. Jesus Christ. How you doing, bro?
He's muted, though. He's muted. He's muted.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
The mic's gone, mate. Oh, AT.
No, still muted. Just really quickly while AT sorts his mic out. The thing is, though, we say that about Man City leaving their killers on the pitch. And I think to some extent you've got a point. I mean, I think I would have subbed Gyökeres off in that game too, but I'd have brought Eza on earlier. At the same time, though, we complain that we overplay our players. So we can't have it both ways.
Do you not think
you now?
Do you not?
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Yeah, AT, big up, man. Yeah, thank you, AT. AT, big up Nigeria, by the way, man. Big up Nigeria.
We're cooking. All right, do you. I'll basically join you guys as you guys are going, man. Good to be back.
No, so Dom, I was going to ask, but do you not think he still plays Saka for a long time, like for too long?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. But I mean, again, my point is always that, look, most star players at every club play. But secondly, Saka has, I think, played every game where he's not been injured this season, but he also has not started quite a few of those games as well. So he's been on the bench. Actually, he didn't play at the weekend, did he? I think that was the first time. But, so his minutes are being rotated much more. We are seeing Arsenal finally, I know people didn't like the signing of Noni Madueke, but actually finally Mikel Arteta's got a right winger that he trusts to play, and we are seeing Saka be used less. But my point I always make about this Arsenal overplaying is this season we are seeing rotation.
Yeah.
In the past, I think we've seen it because Mikel Arteta didn't trust his squad. He's got a squad he can trust now, but equally he had to play these best players to get Arsenal to where they were because the drop-off was so big when you took out the first team players. And the last point I would make is every side plays their star players loads. Rodri plays every minute pretty much at Manchester City before his ACL when he was available. Haaland plays every minute. Salah plays every minute. Mbappe plays, not literally every minute, but, substantial minutes. They don't come off till late in games. The best players want to play, but we are seeing Arsenal this season rotate much more than we've ever seen before, which is a positive thing. So I think the criticism of Arteta in the past is valid. I can understand it, and I think it's factually accurate. But I also think when there is a little bit of context around that. And, I think if I'm Manchester United right now, I just play the same 11 every single game, see if I can get us into Europe. They've got no other game to play for a start, but for a second, look at what happens. I mean, their first team squad isn't brilliant anyway, but look at the drop-off when they bring in the reserves. That's huge. Even so, and they're not exactly good to start with. So you can understand why any manager there is going to do that, because getting into Europe is the only way to fix Manchester United, because otherwise you're not attracting players. You just need to play your best players to get them there, and they can do because they haven't got Europe. But the point being, if you don't do that, the drop off is so big, you are risking imploding your season.
AT, what do you make of the game, real quickly? Obviously, got through the FA Cup. We've been speaking a lot on Gyökeres, it's fair to say, and who should be starting up front right now. What do you make of this whole situation, and what do you make of the Portsmouth game in general, bro?
Okay, so for the game, first things first, I was happy with the rotation. Like, I actually wanted everyone. I actually wanted like the entire 11 to be out, including Mali Salmon. But I also understood that Gabriel is just coming back from injury and he needs some minutes as well. So that was fair. It was quite crazy to see that old man calling a whatever at the edge of the train line. I'm like, come on, like, you lads, just take it easy and stuff. But my disappointment, in all honesty, I expected more from Eze. He was just going through the paces, like he didn't really care that much about the game. Maybe he's kind of getting the after effect of being on the bench for so long. But the biggest concern to me was Miles Lewis-Kelly. Like, I am very scared with Lewis-Kelly playing against Chelsea. Those right wingers are going to cook him. So right now, I would prefer Timber to go to the left and White to be on the right, so that at least we can manage that game. One thing I love about White, in the final third, is amazing. You see that cross that he played across to Martinelli, that he played the ball off the bar and whatnot. But defensively, he's not that good. So that's just the balance you get between him and Timber. As for Martinelli, well, kudos to him. Just the previous week, you know what happened between him and Conor Bradley, and I'm sure his mind would have been rattled from what happened then. But to see him give 2 headers for our set pieces, man, I'm just happy with the fact that, okay, if you are too stubborn against Arsenal, we said we're going to call our striker own goal to come get you, or you can latch onto our set pieces. So overall in the game, I think it was good. It was expected to win them like at least 4 or 5 goals, and we got what we needed. And Kai Havertz also came on for a couple of minutes, which is good, because Gyökeres, fam, I'm tired, bro. Like, I'm tired. It's not as if we did not give him a chance, right? We actually did. Havertz was out injured for almost 4 to 5 months, and he could not make any good use of it. So if Havertz can get the games to get up to speed, then I'm good, because at this point in time, man, I give up. Obviously, there's a trade-off between bringing Gyökeres in this game to get a goal or playing the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Havertz, which was more important, in all honesty. Gyökeres will still get more games in the future. But I was okay with the result, and I'm happy that we're playing Wigan Athletic next. So that's more chance to allow the young lads play as well, and in the second team.
Yeah, AT, I'm not going to lie, you sounded like... you acted like Havertz is like this saviour, by the way. The way you were talking about him.
So at this point, Rory, beggars can't be choosers. When we signed Gyökeres for Sporting, everybody was all about, I can remember Josh, every time it was all about this and whatnot, But we gave this guy ample time. 21 Premier League games, 5 goals, 16 stats. Come on. Okay.
Can I ask you a question then? How long did you give Havertz and Marino?
So I gave Havertz almost the same time with Gyökeres, but something switched. Can you remember that game against Newcastle, where it was as if a knot got loose in his head? He started making some very heavy tackles that, he kind of brought himself into it. My issue here is that Gyökeres is not making himself available to even receive a good pass. And when he eventually gets a pass, he always kind of misses the chance and all that. So the influence I expected to get from him, I'm not seeing it.
When has he ever got the pass, though?
Saliba, Arsenal Everton, he missed it.
Saliba, yeah.
Athletic Club, a couple of chances, he missed it.
Yeah, from a couple of crosses.
Olympiacos, the one that Odegaard gave to him, he put the ball to the bar, Martinelli now managed to score. He has had his even Fulham that Ben Leno saved from him. So I don't need to start pinpointing games, but other than that, he's my striker. Erling Haaland, yes, I know he's supposed to be the yardstick for strikers, but the thing is that at least he makes himself available to receive a pass, and more times than not, he finishes those chances. Even
So, AT. So,
Mhm.
do you rate Havertz over Gyökeres?
So right now, I want to give Havertz a shot with the way we are playing, right? Because he hasn't played for 5 months. But
Okay.
I know that he has shown himself in the past. Last season, 2 seasons ago, or 2.5 seasons ago, where every chance he had, he scored.
Who Havertz?
Yes, last season.
I'm still
But
traumatized from the.
he had his misses, no doubt.
Yeah,
But he made himself available. He was very influential in our games. Gyökeres is not as influential as I expect him to be, and that's my disappointment about him. I'm not saying he must score every week, but against Liverpool, you had only 8 touches. Are you kidding me, man? That was sad. And you are at home.
Who really turned up in that game, though? Who turned up?
To me,
Liverpool's back line turned up.
Exactly.
No, in the first half, Saka was cooking. He cooked Kekes on that flank.
Yeah, Saka was good for the opening 20 minutes until we stopped giving him the ball.
Yeah, but the thing that we had so many, like Declan Rice had that effort that he played across. There was no Gyökeres to finish it. Saka had that effort, there was no one to finish it. And in those kind of games, those are the kind of chances you have.
But what I will say, AT, right? Look at the cross, right, where Timber was through down the byline. Gyökeres in a fantastic position, and he just plays it to the keeper's arms.
Yeah, so
right? We don't pay attention to when he does good movement, but he's either got basically a cross that's physically impossible for him to get on the end of, or no one is playing the ball to it. Like, you mentioned Saliba. For fuck's sake, who played a ball to it.
Yeah.
A central defender. Why are we not talking about our creative players?
So clearly we have a bias towards the flanks. We don't really. If we had someone like Eberechi Eze playing well in the middle, we would have been creating more from there. But he's on the bench right now, bro.
And whose fault is that?
Well, it's the gaffer. The gaffer prefers Odegaard. And guess what? Eze, I still feel he was punished for what happened against Aston Villa. When you come to the team, there are some things I expected of you. You can see Martinelli and Saka, despite their output, Martinelli has scored 9 goals for all this season, but he defends like a madman at the back. See how Madueke exposed White against Portsmouth. So Eze and Madueke, they need to come into how we play in the team. But my main challenge is this on the right-hand side. If we could have Timber attack like White and have White defend like Timber, would have been mad. If we could have Madueke with Saka coming out front, yeah?
Exactly like if Madueke had the finishing of Saka and Saka had the dribbling of Madueke, yes, like we would have a player on our hands. But, you know, about Gyökeres, he's not had that many chances. And when he has had chances, he has finished the vast majority of them. I'd say the Brighton game he should have scored. Olympiacos, he probably should have bagged a couple of goals because that's the only game where I think we actually played to his strengths.
Well,
the
Burnley,
only game.
Burnley
Burnley had a very good game as well. That was it.
So I saw
it
Leeds as well earlier in the season.
Yeah,
Leeds. And funny enough, right, the goal he actually scored was created by himself, right?
Yeah.
He's been assisted by Calafiori. He's been assisted by Gabriel on a couple of occasions. The only player, right, the only attacker who has assisted him this season has been Eze. That is it. And he's a midfielder.
I agree with you on that. But that's the thing. There's a question that's from Posh. That what do I think of Shesko?
I'm gonna bring that up.
Okay, so guess what? I think Shesko would have done better for us, and Gyökeres would have done well for Man United, because Gyökeres was playing for Amorim, right? Amorim would have basically moved heaven and hell to allow Gyökeres play well in Man U, right? But Shesko is like Kai Havertz. He's our kind of player. He was someone that had done so well with the set pieces. He's very tall. Many of our corner kicks, both attacking and defensively, he would have done well. My only issue was that the price that Leipzig called for him was pathetic. There was no way we were going to pay that amount for him. But in all honesty, I wish we got Sesko. Rather than Gyökeres.
But I want something different.
What?
Do you rate him right now, AT? Sesko?
Yeah, I do. Even if Mayu is crap, Sesko is still a decent player.
You
Even if
prefer
Mayu is
Sesko?
crap. Do you know why? Because Sesko, one, he has the technique, right? He can hold up play.
I think he's about Havertz.
This, bro. Like, what are we doing here?
No.
He's missed like 4 to 5 chances. He needs at least 2 or 3 chances before he then eventually is on the score sheet.
I think Josh is about to nail this one, by the way.
Well, I was going to say he's another Havertz.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How would you prefer
And that worked for us. The Havertz should have worked for us.
So why would you prefer Sesko then if he's just another Havertz? Surely you would want another variation at striker, no?
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, now that we're going to the equation, how has it worked out for us?
So I mean, I look. If you want someone to fit the system, you sign Sesko. You can see why Arteta wanted that, right? But I wanted Gyökeres because he was that difference.
Yeah,
I think Sesko is still quite young, right? Which is so. I suspect he will get more clinical as he gets older. Maybe he won't. We don't know. But I suspect he might do. But I still think Gyökeres was the right signing for Arsenal right now. Even if he doesn't work out, it was the right one to go for because he was a different style of striker. I think Sesko is a good player. I think Sesko will prove to be a good player. He will outgrow Manchester United. But, but most strikers still need 2 or 3 chances. Havertz and others, though, sometimes do miss those horrible sitters. And Havertz is definitely guilty of it, which does then lead to more scrutiny of them. But, it is a myth that some strikers score almost every chance. Some are obviously better. Kane, Haaland, obviously strikers. But most strikers will need more chances. The problem for Gyökeres at the moment is he's not taking any of them. And just look like that one he missed against, was it Brighton, where he tried to chip the keeper and just completely fluffed it. But that just speaks to it.
Yeah, Rory, I can remember that one too, from Trossard. That was pathetic too, man.
Bro, Havertz isn't even better than Marino, Drew. Marino is our best striker. Now.
Here's the thing. Marino, Gabriel Jesus, Havertz, they all have the same style. They fit our system. Gyökeres is not fitting our system. And it's a problem for us.
It doesn't. But if this manager actually plays to his strengths, then yeah, you'll see the best out of him, right? I'll ask you this. If we had Unai Emery in charge, and I'm not saying I want him back, by the way, but if we had Unai Emery in charge, how many goals do you reckon he's scoring?
If we had Unai Emery in charge, he would have given us 15 goals in the Premier League and maybe 5 or 6 in Europe, but at least 20 goals. Because Emery allows the strikers play a certain type of way. They all work so hard.
So it's almost like it is a system issue, and it is.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone disagrees with you on that, Rory. As we were saying earlier, Arteta's system isn't built around a number 9. It's not sharing the goals, right? So I don't, as we said, I don't think strikers
giving up on him 80 though. Like it doesn't make sense.
No. But everyone has a chance to do something. Like right now in the team, Martinelli has 9 goals. Saka has 7 goals. Trossard 7 goals. Gyökeres has
7 goals.
Yeah. But we're still struggling with him, man. Do you know what? No, see my problem. I love Gyökeres. I actually want him to do well, right? I believe that they are trying to also adapt to him. But he's struggling. They have to meet each other halfway. Most times, you will see that Gyökeres doesn't make himself available to receive a true ball. He's rather fighting with the defenders. Then when he eventually gets the ball, whether it's a confidence issue, guess what? We even had to allow him play a penalty so that his run wouldn't have been as horrible as it looks right now against Everton. And yes, I was happy he scored the penalty, because if he didn't score, it would have been worse. But my problem is this. he's not doing his own part to adapt to how we are playing because he still gets chances, bro.
I agree with that. I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is you can't just look specifically at Gyökeres and the fact he's the problem when really, like, let's be honest, none of our attackers have ripped up any trees so far this season. Like, Saka's not been at the level. Trossard's probably been the only one, but still, he scored like, 5 goals in the league. And fair enough, he's bagged assists. But, you know, again, Eza hasn't pulled up any trees. Odegaard has been crap for the last 8 months.
Oh, come on.
Like, he has, though, Dom. Like, come on.
No, he has struggled a bit, though.
By his own standards, yes, but in the last few weeks, he's been much better. I mean, I don't think you can be.
Oh, yeah, in recent times. But honestly, in the grand scale of things, no.
In the grand scheme of things, I agree with you, but I think you've got to start looking in the last few weeks. But the only thing I would just say on this narrative, right, again, is Arsenal have still scored the second most amount of goals in the Premier League, and also, by the way, through balls to the forwards. Arsenal are also second. Arsenal are one through are second. There's only Manchester City have played more through balls than Arsenal this season.
How many of them goals though have been own goals?
Well, why does that matter? Seriously, why does it matter? What?
Right, how many of them...
I mean, it doesn't matter. The ball was still put in a dangerous area. Some of those goals might have gone in had they not gone in off the defender. I think Jesus scored. I think Timber scores. You know, I really don't care who scores a goal. There's no goal again against Portsmouth. I thought that was an all-goal goal. To be fair, you know,
the fact you don't think Odegaard has been dross in the last 8 months.
No. My issue with that isn't about. Is that Odegaard the last few weeks has started to find form. Yeah. Last season, Odegaard was terrible. No question, right? This season, he barely got games without being injured. He then ended up, since he's come back from the last injury, I actually think he's significantly improved, and we're starting to get back towards Odegaard's level. That was my disagreement. That was my heckle about Odegaard there, which was, I think.
So Dom, I have a question for you about Odegaard right now. What do you think about him invading Zubimendi's space, coming too deep to receive the ball?
I would like to see him further. I would like to see him further forward, right? So I think if you're going to play what we did yesterday, I know it was Ranieri that played, but I'd almost rather see Odegaard in the 8 and Eza in the 10. I'd like to see Odegaard higher up the pitch, whether that's tactical or because he drops deep because that's what he was being used to. I'm not sure. I'd like to see him further up the pitch where he influences it more. But my point on Odegaard is actually, since he came back from that latest injury, I actually think we started to get Odegaard back towards the Odegaard we had a couple of seasons ago. Last season, no question, he was awful. But
yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like in the last 8 months, he's been dreadful. Right, 3 games does not determine how good or how bad he's been. Like,
he's a consistent run. I agree.
Right?
I think my issue was the timing of the criticism of Odegaard rather than...
What did he do against Liverpool, right? If he actually turned up against Liverpool and didn't focus basically spinning around and, you know, dwelling on the ball as he always does, right, and actually release the ball quicker... And actually,
against Liverpool, I think you're right.
Maybe we could have a discussion like whether or not he's turned a corner. But a couple of good games, like crap players can have good games.
Well, yeah, but I could also, but that's my point, right? That he had one season where he was, you know, he was awful last season by his own admission and by his own standards for whatever reason, right? But before that, he was our player of the season 2 years running. I think you can train that and go and say exactly the same first.
Okay, we had expectations, right?
I think my issue was about the timing. I think if you said it about Odegaard a month ago, I think that would have been fair. I think right now, I think Odegaard, bar that Liverpool game, has been returning to the best. I think he's been playing the ball quicker, releasing the ball quicker. Against Liverpool, you're absolutely right. However, I don't think anybody in an Arsenal shirt played well against Liverpool.
Okay, no one did. Even the game against Portsmouth, right? When Merino played as a 6, Waneri and Eze were ahead of him throughout the entire game. When Odegaard came into the pitch, he was behind Merino. And I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think he needs to be higher.
You know what I'm saying? It hinders Zubimendi in build-up. It's like, why on earth did we bring in a number 6 for build-up when Odegaard does it anyway?
Yeah, I think you're right on that point. I think he needs to be higher up, no question.
I mean, not just high, like even when he is higher up, he's changed to the right-hand side. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's holding hands
more
with Saka.
central.
He needs to be more central. Most of his assists come down the left-hand side, right? But it doesn't change the fact, right? He's the captain, and he needs to take some accountability. He's supposed to be the creative spark. Apparently, one of our best players who wants a new contract, apparently, right? So you've got to bloody earn your money, mate. You've got to actually supply our striker.
Do you not notice out of Eze? I feel like Eze does the same as Odegaard does when we haven't got.
I've seen Eze decide games, though. I've seen Eze decide way more games in this short period of time than I've seen Odegaard.
Like Josh, if you remember when Odegaard was injured, right, and Eze was playing 10, our attack had different dimensions. You could come from the wings and you could come from the middle with Eze because Eze was already moving further up the pitch, right? As soon as Odegaard came back to replace Eze, Odegaard went back to his right-hand side bias. And now our central midfield is kind of just dead. Declan Rice doesn't drive as much. You know, he progresses the play, but that final creative spark that we're expecting in the middle, we don't get it. So Odegaard and Saka are now the ones cutting from the right. Trossard, of course, does this thing on the left. Most are even isolated. The question now is, how many assists has he even created in the team? Despite holding the ball so much like Diaby, sometimes you need to just release the ball real quick, but he doesn't do that. And transition kind of goes away from that. So that's my problem with him. I love Odegaard. I love the press from the front and whatnot. But I believe that there's some games he can be rested. Or if you also want to rest him, at least play Eze alongside him.
What press does he provide?
Oh, come on.
So let's see against Liverpool.
No, Rory, come on.
Sorry, if his best attribute is pressing, then we might as well hire a doorbell. We might as well hire a doorbell.
I mean, I hate to point this out, but the doorbell is pressed. It's on a technicality. The doorbell technically would be the opposition backline.
Like, it can be. You get what I'm saying? Like this.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Look, but I do think Odegaard is progressing the ball quicker. I think we want to see more from him. But also, I still don't think Odegaard is a bad player. I think, to AT's point, I'd like to see him higher, more central, and I think he needs to be told to do that. But he's moving the ball a bit quicker than he was. I think that is starting to see us be more creative in and around that. He also does lead that press better than any other player in the team. And I think he has those creative attributes. We're starting to see him shoot a little bit more now as well, which is good. That's what he used to be doing. But I think also, there are times where I'm like, actually, do you know what? Ezra playing in there is the right thing to do. We're seeing them both play together with Odegaard deeper. I think there's lots of options. I don't think Ezra and Odegaard play in the same way. But again, it's like the Gyökeres Havertz. It's about which one is the right one for which game.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, so I love the idea of the diversity of the team. Madueke is very direct. Saka is more creative. You know, on the left-hand side, Martinelli is very fast. Trossard is more intelligent. So it's meant to be a case of each game should have the kind of players you need to play for it, right? But somehow we are getting back to that point where that plays the exact same XI every week and doesn't diversify his squad. How will someone as good as Eberechi Eze be on the bench for 5 weeks in a row? Are you kidding me, man? That doesn't make any sense. Because he has some
managers didn't want him.
I think it's because of what happened at Villa Park, personally.
Yeah, but that's like months ago. Come on, can't you forgive and forget or something? Jeez.
It was literally last month, 80.
No, but in terms of game weeks, that's my point.
I agree, because he's missed five Premier League games in a row, right? On the bench.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I feel that there's a kind of games, right, that you can actually rest Mendy and play Eze with Odegaard together with Rice at the 6. All this
No, I think Josh is spot on. I think Ezra is being punished for that, right? I mean, Mikel Arteta likes his all of his players do defensive work, and he basically punished him for it to send a message. That's a part of the game I don't like about that is that it can take too long to get back into his good books. There's no reason for me to have not seen Ezra at least coming off the bench in some of those games. You could argue, you could argue game state, but I don't even think that was true. Even against Everton, it was 1-0, but it never looked like Everton was scoring, let's be honest. And then we were, beating Aston Villa comfortably in the return game, if you like, after, that. So I that is where Mikel Arteta annoys me. I talked about this before, that part of the reason I think we sell badly is because Arteta goes, I'm not playing you anymore. And that makes it not impossible, but makes it harder to sell the player because it's clear you don't want him. And I'm not saying he doesn't want him, by the way. I think Mikel Arteta wants and needs a player like Ezra that can change a game. He's a moments player. You'll never see Ezra be consistent. He'll have purple patches, but he will be in and out of games. He's not someone that will be ball dominant on the ball like Odegaard, who will be high touch. He's going to be much lower touch, much more creative. But I mean, Josh is exactly right. That's exactly why Ezra was left out. Right? It's pure and utter punishment, and I don't like that. To be clear.
Yeah,
but I also said last week, and I stand by it, Ezra will get some game time again. He'll get the opportunity to do it, and I think he will still be high in game time by the end of the season in terms of overall minutes, overall games played.
It's another situation where the manager doesn't take responsibility because he shouldn't have been playing as the left winger in the first place.
Yeah.
Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra.
I like Ezra.
No, but there's specific games that you don't play him as the left winger.
Again, it's horses, right?
And when there was space occupied, when Odegaard, this is why I said I wanted Eze to start against Liverpool, because there'll be more space occupied in games like Bournemouth, etc., and Aston Villa to an extent, because they will come to the Emirates and sit out like a low block, basically, right? But against Liverpool, against the cities, that's when you play Eze.
Although ironically, Liverpool did low block, ironically, but I agree. I think there's horses for courses, right? Depending on who you're playing, depends on also who we play, because we've got the tactical versatility to do that. And as I say, I think I like Ezra on the left, but there are games where you want Martinelli or Trossard. That's different profile. I mean, Trossard and Martinelli more similar, but I would agree with you there. I think that's something I'd like to see more of.
Yeah, I think this is a frustrating thing as well. Like, he does never punish Odegaard or Havertz if they make these mistakes. How many chances did Havertz miss last season?
Well, I'm not sure there was anyone to replace him last season, but I take your point.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm saying. But yeah, guys, we'll move on because I've got to wrap this up soon. We've obviously Chelsea on Wednesday. In fact, just quickly, what did you guys make of the FA Cup draw? We drew obviously Wigan at home. I mean, that's a nice draw, isn't it? It's sandwiched between Brentford and Tottenham, isn't it? So we can rotate in that game. So
I don't think we should. I think we don't need to rotate against Spurs, do we?
No, against Wigan. This guy. This guy is serious. They just changed his expression just like that.
I'm sure I'm going to the 5th round. I've not seen the 5th round of the FA Cup for almost 5 years, man.
Bro, since he's won it, man, we ain't made it past. We ain't made it past the 4th round, man.
Come on, man.
It's embarrassing.
Finally, hopefully this is the year.
So at least we'll go to the 5th round. And I'm happy that Aston Villa is playing Newcastle. So that one of them will go away from there. The Man City will give Southport another 10-1 or something.
Brighton may get signed against Liverpool,
Yeah, Brighton or Liverpool are going.
But it's away though. But Brighton is a stubborn side, so we could count on them to do something.
And again, but Brighton are capable of creating chances. Like, they got a point against Man City, so you don't know. Like,
Brighton are really well suited to play Man City. They often do well. It's similar with us.
Yeah, and it's same with Liverpool as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just quickly before we,
I'm just scrolling through this draw. I can't see Manchester United.
Spurs there as well.
I'm just looking for them as well. I'll just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
My mouse isn't scrolling anymore. I'm at the bottom. I must have missed him. I'll have another look.
I'm not feed off the whole time.
40 games, man. Barest minimum. That's a gangster, man.
But yeah, just before we do wrap up, we'll obviously we will touch on the Chelsea game. Obviously on Wednesday, that's massive for me. I think this is a great opportunity to get silverware. And this is Rafinha's second game in charge for Chelsea. So, like, there's if it was Maresca, I think I'd feel a little like less confident. But because they've got a new manager,
Don't say that.
yeah, I know, like we could say manager bounce, etc., etc. But Rossini is basically two managers who haven't won anything, basically. But yeah, I think we should be taking this game seriously. It is Chelsea, so hopefully it will give Arteta, the encouragement to field out a strong team. And I think we will actually beat Chelsea, and we'll get to the final and probably face Man City, to be fair, and lose. But I think I don't want to feel this negative though, but like it probably is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think AT mentioned, like, regarding the lineup, I think if we are going to play Lewis Skelly and they have Esteval on the right hand side, I think it could be a bloodbath. So I think it'll probably be the sensible thing to go with Ben White at right back and Timber as the left back, so we've got some stability down the flanks. Apart from that, I would be going for a very strong team, and I think the thing is we can actually get away with getting a point in this game.
Because when are we playing Nottingham? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, 5:30.
Okay, so Wednesday to Saturday. That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we should still field out a strong team, though. Like, it's a cup competition. It's the first cup you can actually win in the season. Well, in England anyway.
Stamford Bridge. The last time we went there, we saw how they were up for us. The fans will be up for it. The players.
Yeah, and I think they don't have Caicedo, right?
I thought they were one in October, Rory.
But yeah, I definitely have Caicedo, do they? He's suspended for the game. And Palmer's a high doubt for the game.
Yeah.
So
something.
It's our best opportunity to get a result at Chelsea. And I think we will, As Posh said, it will be a lot tougher because, atmosphere, as I said, it is a cup and Chelsea fans are going to be up for this, right? But I think if we can just walk away with a point, well, not a point, but a draw, take it to the Emirates, I think we will beat them at our ground. But we'll go to Dom first. How are you feeling going into this game? And obviously, your lineup, Mr. Factman.
I think you've just said it there, really. You go strong in this one because why not? You've just rotated heavily at the weekend. You've got Forest at the weekend where, let's say Saliba comes out of it, you think, oh, he needs another 90 minutes off. You've got the option. I'm just picking on Saliba at random, but, whoever, you can, make 2 or 3 changes again at Forest at the weekend, no problem. I've always said I think Arsenal should take this competition seriously. We need silverware this season. I think they need to win as a team. I think they need to experience that thing. And this is, despite the fact that no, I'm not going to say that. This is the first chance for silverware this season for Arsenal. I think it's important. It's going to be tough because if you beat Chelsea, Manchester City are probably going to be waiting in the final. But Arsenal should feel confident enough to beat Manchester City. This is a good side and a good squad. So I would go very, very strong for this one. And as you say, you don't need to win this one. What you need to do is make sure you're in the tie for the second game. You ideally, obviously, want to go there, win the game, get it done. But if you come away with a point, as you say, I'm doing it now, but I know what you mean. You come away with that.
Yeah.
You come away with a draw, you are banging that because you'd fancy yourselves to beat them at the Emirates. You don't really want to come away with a defeat. If you lose 2-1, you're still banging the tie. But even 2-0, you fancy yourself at the Emirates, but don't make it difficult for yourself. This is a 180-minute game, not a 90-minute game. Stay in the tie, and which is what we're best at. Parking the bus. Beep, beep, beep. But you know what I mean? It is about that cautious control in game.
Not so autistic there.
But that is what we are best at. I think I do not expect to see an attacking display. It's not really what Arteta does anyway. But secondly, it is that 2-legged game. Do not lose this game. Stay in a tie, and as you say, go strong. For me, I think Miles Lewis-Skelly will play at left back. I thought he did grow into the game, but he is it does make me the most nervous going into this one. But hopefully a few minutes under his belt will help him there because, as I say, grew into it slightly. I think Kepa will start in goal, But I'm not shocked if Raya, after Kepa made that mistake, because I think Arteta wants to win this one. But my side's going to be, I think it'll be Kepa. I think it'll be Timber, obviously Saliba and Gabriel, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. And I think that sort of settled back three around Miles Lewis-Skelly will also help, by the way. It'll be Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard. And I think Gyökeres will start up front. I think that's the side that will be picked. And I'm going to go
Josh,
1-1.
what about you?
I'll go 1-1 before you ask me.
Oh yeah, 1-1.
I'll get it out of the
Josh.
So I'm going to the game, and
Oh, you're going to the first leg. I'm doing the second.
yeah, I'm going to the first leg because my uncle's a Chelsea fan, so
Oh
got me
yeah,
in there
he's
he's got me in there for free, but I'm in the home end, so I'm undercover. But
Keeping quiet.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, look, for me, as you guys, I mean, I agree with you guys. I'm happy when the draw even got done in the semi-final that we had them at Stamford Bridge first, and unlike last season, we had to go we had the Newcastle at the Emirates first, and we messed it up completely. Lost that 2-0, and then it was such a really hard task to score 2 at St James's Park, as it always is, right?
No way it was going to happen, right?
Exactly. So, you know, even as you guys say, if we can come out there with a draw, you know, I don't think it'd be a bad result whatsoever, really. I really hope, you know, as you know, Don was saying, in terms of this trophy, we take it seriously, which I don't think we did. I don't think we have done really, in not just with our setup, but I just think in the history really of Arsenal. Like, we've only won it twice. Like, I remember, was it Wenger who played a second team in?
Literally played the kids, didn't he?
Played the kids, didn't he? And so, like, it's always been a trophy where we kind of dismiss, and I don't think we should be doing that. Like, I feel there's a big opportunity, and let's not let Chelsea get to a final as well, and let this new manager have an opportunity of winning something. I don't think they will if they get Man City, but it's like, you know, they ban on about the Conference League, they ban on about the Club World Cup to us, yeah, and we let them, they knock us out, get to a final, and have an opportunity to win that. You know, I'm sorry, that ain't on. So the players, the manager, we all need to be fired up for this game, you know, for both legs at the end of the day. So I really hope he does go strong. I agree with the concerns around Lewis-Skelly. Just quickly on Skelly, it's like, this guy, I thought was superb last season when he had to step in. Yeah. Now he's lost his place to Calla, obviously, and Calla's deserved it. He's played fantastic there at left back. Obviously, he's not getting that consistent game time. I think that's the problem with Skelly, is like, we're throwing him back into these types of games.
I agree.
He's rusty, you know, he's going to be rusty. What I will say, though, is like, I still think we all know deep down, is left back the future for Skelly going forwards. I don't see him as a left back going forward personally. I feel like midfield could be his position. But I don't like, I feel like he's been getting criticised, and I've seen people say they're selling all this stuff. It's like, hold on a minute. Last season, mate, bro, we were playing Champions League games. This guy was stepping up in the big Champions League game.
He was the only fullback in the Champions League last season to play over 2 games that didn't get dribbled past once.
There we go.
You know, I saw him being compared to, he's worse than Zinchenko. I was like, what are you watching?
What?
But just very quickly. Just very quickly. I think. Yeah, I know. But just very quickly, I think Josh is right. But I think also some of this is sort of, there's something they talk about in NFL quite a lot, which is second season syndrome, where players come in and have phenomenal, what they call rookie seasons. And Miles Lewis-Skelly unquestionably had that last season. And like the expectations around them and the height, and actually they were just phenomenal. And it's not that they're a bad player, but they drop off in the second half, and you just remember them as this phenomenal player. And Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't probably been anywhere near as bad as we think he has this season. It's just we're thinking he's going to be here, and he's actually nearer the middle. So I'm not concerned about it at all.
Can I challenge that? He was playing consistently last season, right? To the point where we're confident enough to let Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko go. Then he signed a new contract. So, in my opinion, complacency came into the picture, thinking that he was the main guy and whatnot. Then Calafiori, who was always the injured guy, comes in this season and starts cooking at a different rate. And now Lewis-Skelly has to match that. But when he comes onto the pitch, he can't.
I think both can be true, right? But Josh was making a point just now, and Josh should go back to his team in a second. But it is that I think his interrupted game time isn't helping him. But equally, could just be that it could just he's also a young player, right? I don't think we should worry about Miles Lewis-Skelly long term, but for the short term, I sort of share the concerns going into tomorrow. But hopefully it's not tomorrow, Wednesday. But hopefully he will absolutely tear it up. But sorry, Josh, I just thought it was a really interesting point. Miles
no,
Lewis-Skelly.
100. 18, like I agree with you. I just feel, and for him as a player as well, it's like every time he has to every time he gets back in the team now, like he's gonna know that he's lost his place to Callum now. I get it. I feel like in the recent games, has he really taken that opportunity? Has he really changed Arteta's mind? Because that's like this is what part of the squad is now. You know, we've got competition for places. Now he's lost his place to Callum. He needs to do everything he can to try and convince Arteta as much as he did last season. You know, obviously. Callas came in, he's back from injury now, right? He has to keep, stepping up. He has to improve his performances to give Arteta a bit of a selection headache, I feel like. Has he done that? No, but at the same time, I feel like because he's limited game time, his age as well, he's playing week in, week out, is really helping him the consistent amount of game time. Now you're throwing him to this game, that game, this game, that game. Again, it's quite difficult for him. And we know the left back position as well, bro, as a whole. It takes a while.
Really tricky.
Really tricky. So.
It's arguably the hardest position to play in Arsenal because of the expectation, right? You're almost playing as a midfielder / winger, and you've got to do the defensive work as well. It is incredibly hard.
Yeah. Very complex.
But I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he does do with the goalkeepers. I wouldn't mind Kepa in goal if I'm being real with it.
I'm not against it either.
Yeah, I'm not playing Kepa.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah, the semi-final.
But he's our cup keeper. This is a kind of game you need to give to him.
Oh, whoopee do. Like in the Europa League, we played Petr Cech, didn't we? Under Unai Emery, and how did that work out?
Yeah.
So, like,
I don't
at the end
think
of the day, you play your best
bad.
player. On this stage, you play your best team, basically. Right? Chelsea aren't going to. Who's their backup goalkeeper?
Jorgensen.
They're not going to play.
Sanchez. It's Jorgensen, yeah. But I think that's the point. Is it your first choice goalkeeper or is it your cup goalkeeper? I don't think Kepa's a bad goalkeeper. And I don't, look, that was the first mistake he's made, wasn't it? And he did nothing else wrong.
If Ryder gets an injury right now, I won't bat an eyelid. I trust Kepa enough.
But that's the risk. That's the risk I'm willing to take, though, because it's a semi-final of a cup.
I don't disagree with you, Rory. I think it will be Kepa tomorrow, but I think there was a genuine question about whether you do play Raya because it's a cup semi-final.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not worried if Kepa comes in.
I got to wrap this up in a minute. AT, just give me a quick thoughts, brother, on the game coming up and
just hang on very quickly. Can I just have Josh's final lineup because I interrupted him loads of times and I've
it's all good. It's all good, man. It's pretty much the same as what everyone else said. The same back four, same midfield. I'll start Madueke again personally, and then the rest. Who'd you guys say up from?
Who does Madueke come in for?
That was Dom said.
I said Gyökeres, but who does Madueke come in for you? Because I had Trossard and Saka as my wingers.
Oh,
you will play Madueke for Saka.
Why not play them both? Why not play Saka and Madueke?
That's what I was saying. Are you going with those? I went with Trossard.
You'll play Madueke out on the left.
Yeah.
You'll play Madueke out on the
left and then Saka on the right.
I went Trossard on the left.
Really? If you really see Madueke play well on the left for us, I don't think
he did it, I think, and he wasn't all that.
Yeah.
Well then, why not drop it for Saka then? Yeah, but why not drop it for Saka then? Or resting for Saka then?
Because it's a cup semi-final and you should play your best players. Saka is a better player than Madueke.
For me, hold on, but Madueke's been playing better than Saka recently.
Has he? No.
I think he has.
I mean,
I think he deserves opportunity in this game.
I think Madueke's played well. I'm not sure if he's, I
Yeah,
think
but
he's a better
not in a
player.
game like this. Like, if it's not working, right, bring on Madueke, obviously. But, starting him in a game like this, yes, no, it's Chelsea, but...
I do get your point, though, Josh. I think he has been playing really well, Madueke. I don't think we've seen enough of him on the left to know if he can play it or not. I think would be my point on the left side. But Madueke, I think, has played well. I can see the logic behind that as well. Also, going back to his former ground, I wouldn't be stunned to see Madueke in the side, but I don't expect to see him in the side.
AC, just quickly.
Okay, no. So mine will just be the same lineup, but I will not play Lewis Kelly. I will play Timber on the left.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The right, that's for sure. My midfield will be the three guys: Rice, Zubimendi, and Odegaard. And I'll go for Gyökeres, Saka, and Martinelli.
So you wouldn't start Trossard ahead of...
No. Martinelli just scored a hat-trick. I think I want to reward him for that.
Fair enough. I'm pretty sure we've covered everything. I've got to, unfortunately, wrap it up. Appreciate you guys taking your time. Once again, short on guests, so hopefully next week, this time out, we are going to have way more guests than we have done recently. But we'll go around the panel quickly. Dom, anything coming up? I know you said you've got a YouTube short coming up tomorrow, as they always do on a daily basis.
Yep, daily shorts for me. I'm actually going to pull tomorrow's one and do a new one for tomorrow. So I'll do that after this game. I think it will be a controversial one, shall we say?
Josh?
Just stay. I've something tomorrow, man. Probably I haven't decided yet. Probably like Arsenal news or something. And then Wednesday I'm at the game. Thursday.
Will you be doing a match day vlog?
I'll try to in the Chelsea.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'll try to. Yeah, that'd be interesting. If I'm alive.
Yeah, we need a Pedro Neto POV, bro.
Pedro Neto, oh my god. Big up Posh, he said, is that Pedro Neto in the crowd? Why isn't he playing?
Anytime.
I thought you did a video on Mertesacker. I thought I'm going to edit it and publish it tomorrow. I'll have a match preview for the Chelsea game. Then, of course, match reaction, basically to Nottingham Forest. So the content will keep rolling out, man. Never stops.
Yeah, so on that bombshell, we're gonna wrap it up. Big up to you, man, who have obviously tuned in the chat as well. You lot have been legends, and yeah, in terms of what's coming up on the channel for me, really much apart from the traditional match reaction here and there, and playing 2 games a week, so it gets me a video out or 2, so that's nice. But subscribe to the channel if you haven't already on the road to 2K, and we'll catch you next Monday in a bit, guys.